Peace. Welcome to Holistic Intuition, where we collectively explore health, raised consciousness, and overall holistic experiences such as self-love, cultural privilege, confidence, sex, friendships, oppressive systems, and much, much more, while encouraging you to be your best guide in this human experience through helping each other connect more deeply with ourselves.
Hey everybody, my name is Jessie, and thank you for joining me on my very first episode of Holistic Intuitions. So I wanted to start off my very first podcast by explaining the origin of my intentions of starting this, why I wanted to start it, what I'm going to be talking about, and just about me too, so you can learn about why this is so important to me. So to start off with the name, Holistic Intuitions, if we dive deep into what is our intuition. So our intuition is something also known as our third eye. A lot of people, if you look at your chakras, which are your energy centers, your third eye is located in your forehead area. But your intuition is basically like an inner guidance system. So it can be in a positive way, it can be in a way that maybe helps you in a sense of security. So for example, if you walk into an elevator and that person in the elevator kind of gives you this weird vibe, that's your intuition speaking through you, like, bitch, get out the fucking elevator, okay? So it can be like that, or it can be maybe you meet someone and you have this really great connection when you first meet. That's your intuition guiding you, like, oh, let's explore this person. We like this so far. We like how this feels. So your intuition is all encompassing. Your intuition doesn't stop when you go to work. It doesn't stop when you do certain things and then start again. So holistic, let's go to the word holistic. Holistic is all encompassing. That's kind of how I would describe it, even though they're so similar, but that's why I like them together, is because your intuition is holistic. It is all encompassing. It doesn't stop when you do certain things. So the main reason why I want to start this podcast is because I want people to live the most fulfilling lives they can. I want people to feel the best they can, because society will teach you otherwise. And I will get into all of that in depth. But when in regards to food, in regards to all the conditioning we get in media, social media, TV, magazines, otherwise, the way they teach us how to live our lives. That's such a broad statement, but once I get more into it, I think you'll get a better understanding of what I'm saying. But a lot of us are really lost. We're lost, we feel disconnected, and that's such a waste. We have such a beautiful experience to live in this lifetime, in this era, with the people that you're surrounded by. And I want everyone to feel that love from within and embody that and spread that to other people. Because if we're not doing that, why the fuck are we here? We didn't come here to work in a 9-to-5 and save up so we can buy a house and have a family. Like, no, bro, that's the bullshit that they want you to think. I want you to feel for yourself. I want you to figure out how you want to live your life so that you're most fulfilled. So my intention with coming up with this podcast is to do just that, to help guide, to introduce information that maybe you never heard before, or information that maybe you're like, oh, I heard of that, but I don't really know exactly like how to go about that, or I don't really know too much about it. Okay, cool, let's explore it together. This is a space of non-judgmentalness. This is a space of my extension of love that I've cultivated for myself. I want it to come through your screen. I want you to feel that I care, because I do. And I want this to have I want to build a community around this, So I have a lot of reasons for making this podcast, but I would say that's my number one, to really allow people to connect deeper with themselves through this body of knowledge And my second reasoning is that obviously I present as white. And it's very disappointing to me that a lot of the holistic and enlightened community are really doing their job half-ass, because they're not acknowledging how they received this information or the origins of this information. So if I'm bringing up something about gua sha is great for your lymphatic system. It drains toxins, it can tighten your skin, it can do all these wonderful things. But if I just talk about gua sha and I don't say where it originated, I'm really doing a disservice. And that's just not who I am. I want people to get their credit. And the people who usually don't get their credit, let me reword that. The people that deserve the credit the most rarely get the credit. Rarely. And if it is any sort of credit, it's like this tiny, like, oh, we'll give you this little sliver. Here. I'm not about that. Okay, we're gonna be open, and we might have uncomfortable conversations. Especially if you're white, you might find these uncomfortable. And that's great. You need to feel uncomfortable. You need to stop feeling that life happens in your comfort zone. It does not. You will stay stagnant. You will feel disconnected eventually, even if you don't now. Because that's where life happens, in our discomfort, in our body of knowledge growing. Because knowledge is power. But knowledge is also a trap. If you stay in that and say, this is what it is, this is my knowledge, and I'm not moving. So it's a balance. This is what we're doing here. We're balancing all this information. We're balancing listening to ourselves with the outside world. We're balancing our inner relationship with our external relationships. So just like an example of this is a lot of white people that are in the holistic or, even just like herbal community, all that type of shit, they will talk a lot about environmentalism, which is a great topic to talk about. We should be exploring Mother Nature. We should be exploring how we can give to her as much as she gives to us. We should be exploring all these ideas and how we can help on an individual level, how we can hold companies accountable, etc., etc. But how the fuck are you going to talk about environmentalism and not touch on environmental racism? That doesn't even make any fucking sense. Literally. Who is affected most by these people making these laws? So it's like, I'm not about to do that. Everyone is going to be acknowledged here. Everyone is going to be understood and appreciated. And there's certain things that I can't understand as a white person. I can read and I can connect as much as I can, but I will never understand it. So that's why I'm going to have a plethora of guests on to bring their own perspective, so that it's not just me saying this shit. It's different people. It's bringing in different things to explore. That's what life is. It's an exploration. So we're going to explore other people's minds together. So some of the things, like some of the key words when I thought of like, what are some things that I want people to think of when they think of Jessie's podcast? Obviously, holistic. It's in the name, holistic intuition. Definitely spirituality, health just on an overall basis. We tend to think of health as going to the gym, eating a salad, like the bullshit. That's not what health is, okay? Health is everything. Health is everything. Health is breathing. Health is sunlight. Health is the way you eat and what you eat. It's how you move your body. It's how you take care of your spirit. It's all these different things. So I'm going to be talking spirituality. I'm going to be talking food. I'm going to be talking longevity. I'm going to be talking communication, relationships, sex, education, everything, because that's me. I am not a one-dimensional person. You cannot put me in a box. I want to explore everything with you guys, and if you have questions, that's definitely going to be something I'm going to engage with in the future, so that if you feel maybe a little lost on a topic that I shared, I'd love to explore it more with you and most of the time when people have a question, other people have the same question. And, you know, we have that like shy nervousness about us that like from school, like, I don't want to raise my hand, I don't want to look a certain way. Forget that, okay? Let's forget what everyone else has to say. This is you and me and our community here. No questions are dumb questions. No comments are dumb questions, as long as it comes from a place of love. If it comes from a place of love and critical thinking, there's no way you can do wrong, you know? So especially when we do talk on, you know, topics like race, they're very heavy and they're complex because they were made to be complex. They're really not that complex, but they've been made to be that way. And a lot of white people or non-white people feel very uncomfortable even asking questions about these topics. And that's not what we're doing here. So everything is based around love and respect. So let's transition. I feel like you guys got a good enough feel for what I'm going for. So today we're gonna have a really just brief talk on what is confidence. And we're gonna set the mood. I got my plants out, I got my tea, and this amazing incense. Find things that ground you, you know? Like for me, smells are really grounding. They just kind of calm me. And also fire gazing is something very interesting. I didn't really, you know, I didn't keep it lit for that long with the fire going, but find things that just make you feel good throughout the day, even if it's just lighting incense or making your female reproductive tea, okay? So let's get into it, because at this point in my life, I'm very confident in who I am, in my form, in just me. Not performing something, not acting a certain way, not when I do this, I'm confident, when I do that. No, I'm confident in being. I'm just confident in me, right here, right now, not doing shit. I don't gotta do shit to be confident. So I wasn't always like that at all. You know, I grew up very insecure, extremely insecure, and it wasn't until later on that I even realized the depths of my insecurities. And the reasons why we are insecure, whether it's your body, your intellect, you know, where you come from, it can be a plethora of things. The reasons why are not our fault, because it's just trauma that's been recycled onto us. It's just pain, and hurt people hurt people. So was it my fault that I was looking at my body in a negative way? Fuck no. Hell no. Look who we see on TV all day. Look who you see when you go on Instagram. You know? Okay, sorry y'all, we got cut off. It's our first time. But I was just saying that, you know, we get all these different ways of conditioning through media, through music, through our own family dynamics, which can be toxic. And that's not our fault. You know, it's not our fault that trauma has been recycled onto us. Hurt people hurt people. But it is our responsibility at some point in this human experience to explore that, to figure out the origins of that, and look at that, look at how that has affected different experiences in your life, how that's brought in certain people, and look at it as an opportunity to grow. Because really the opposite of confidence is being insecure, right? And being insecure is a feeling of lack. My body doesn't look good enough. I'm not smart enough. All these different narratives that we tell ourselves. And nothing really is a lack. It's all perspective. Do you want it to be a lack, or do you want to look at it as an opportunity to grow and deepen into yourself and connect more with yourself and the divine? So to me, confidence is really self-acceptance. Self-acceptance means that I don't just, this is just an example because I don't really wear makeup, but like some women really only feel confident when they have lashes and nails on. Some guys only feel confident when they got that right pair of sneakers on. That's not confidence, okay? Confidence is when you can be naked, not just physically naked, but just emotionally, spiritually. You're not holding on to these jewels, whether it be like a literal piece of jewelry or a jewel that you are like, oh, this is me. This is like something I need to hold on to. That's not how life is. Life doesn't allow you to hold on. Life is a flow. Life is water. So let's go back to self-acceptance. Self-acceptance in all forms. That's true confidence. And that's not easy to do. It takes a lot of intentional love, pouring that love back into you that society and family and whoever kind of took out of you. Because when we're born into this world, think about how sweet and loving kids are. If we just continued on that trajectory, oh my God, the world would be fucking amazing. But that's just not how it is. And I see that in my daily life. I see now that I'm confident in who I am, I see all around me the levels of insecurity that people project. Whether that's about their body or just like communicating, and everyone does it in different ways. A common way women do it is that nervous laugh. Oh, I'm insecure, I'm kind of nervous, nervous laugh. Guys, everyone is different. Some guys kind of try to prove themselves, and that's showing their insecurity, like, oh, look at me. Look, I have money. Look, I have this. It's like, I don't give a shit, okay? Like, what do you got on the fucking inside? So this is just going to be like a real quick thing because, I wanted this podcast to mainly just touch on what it's going to be about and why. But I just want to end this podcast really by saying that true confidence takes discipline. It takes an unmatched level of self-love, and it takes time. You don't just go in the mirror and say some affirmations and boom, you're confident. Now I accept myself. No, you have days. It goes up and down. Your body's changing all the time. Your mind's changing all the time. Your people around you are changing. So you have to change with it. And you got to give yourself that grace and know that not every day is going to be this level of self-acceptance. You might have these limiting beliefs. So I was saying you might have these limiting beliefs, but the important thing is to feed yourself that grace, that your healing is not linear. Your healing is like this, okay? And once you realize that, you relax into the healing. It's not a rush. I don't need to be confident tomorrow. Every single thing that is a part of my journey is there for a divine reason, and I am co-creating with the universe. So I kind of went off on a little tangent, but my main thing to say is ask yourself some questions after this podcast. Maybe have a little reflection time, write, do some affirmations, but think to yourself, in what ways do I feel that I lack? Why do I feel that way? Where did those ideas and belief systems come from? And now that I'm aware of it, what steps can I take to feed myself more love? Because for me, it goes self-love and acceptance are like very intertwined. And then once you really have that self-love and acceptance as a foundation, confidence is just like this fresh breeze, like this cool breeze of air that just like comes off of you, that you don't even got to think about it. You just embody it. And then when you're around people that don't embody it, you're like, oh my God, this is not it. That's just rubbing off on me. You look uncomfortable. You're making me uncomfortable. And we deserve the best people around us. We deserve people that feed into us as much as we feed into them. And number one, our spirit deserves that. It deserves all of your love. So we're going to get more into confidence and self-acceptance. I wanted to just keep this brief, since today was just like an introductory episode. But as I said, I'm just so excited and grateful to be here with you and to just have a new experience with myself, expressing myself on a deeper level in a more outward way, and to have all of these guest speakers on. I'm so fucking excited to bring you guys just amazing, beautiful, loving people who are doing their best to live a healthy and uplifting life. So thank you so much for joining me on my first episode of Holistic Intuitions. I wish everyone a week full of love, abundance, and peace, and self-acceptance. I'll see everyone next week.